Greetings, brothers and heathens. So, we're going to talk today about Veritas, truth, about phase one, Epstein files. You know, the interesting thing about it is I didn't think Pam Bondi, and I know, we all have an expectation with God Emperor Trump. It's so much winning, we just expect we're going to get everything all the time the way we want it. And I never thought when Pam Bondi said, the Epstein files are coming out tomorrow. I never thought we were going to get an indictment against a former president of the United States, a tech billionaire, and a worthless prince from England. I didn't think we were going to get those things in February. And we've done so much winning, gang. God Emperor Trump is delivering day after day. Okay, you can't stop the army that is God Emperor Trump from winning. But I didn't think some of this is going to happen as far as the Epstein stuff, because it involves our government. It involves major politically connected, financially connected people within our country and our government. So we got what we got, and I was chilling. And I saw this actually, I was kind of surprised that a lot of people, MAGA people are upset about it. And I was hearing their perspective, and it makes sense. And I was chilling. And part of it was I was like, well, it's February. It feels early to be indicting former presidents of the United States. It feels early to be shaking up large portions of our government because they're connected to a PD file. Gosh, you have to phrase things, I guess, a certain way on the old YouTuber webs. Island, this Epstein Island business, horrible black business, horrible business, disgusting business. So I was chilling when I heard. And there's something I do in life, and it's roll the dice. And I wasn't even really thinking about that in this moment, but it's one thing I've thought about for a long time. So some of you are aware of Epstein Island and the original victims. It's like 2008. This is the Bush administration. It's a local district attorney's office, a county DA office in Florida. And there's 7 to 9 victims. It's a little over a dozen, a little less than a dozen victims for Epstein Island. And there was something I always believed when I heard that number, because I was generally aware Epstein's running an island. He's a billionaire. He's very connected in government, in business, all across our country. And then we've heard enough people say that Epstein would try to collect you. He would go to a party and he would try and collect you, get you to go to one of his parties. Hey, come hang out with me. And some people saw through this scheme, and some people didn't. And I always thought there's more victims. And this is the one thing with Pam Bondi. This is the one thing that she did give us. Okay, the only revelation we got from phase one was Pam Bondi's statement. 250 plus victims. And I was like, there we go. There's a number. That's the number I've been waiting for. That makes sense. Not 7, not 8, not 12, not 20, not 50. 250 plus victims. I was like, yep. As I always thought, I'm rolling the dice. There's way more victims in this situation. And that's phase one for me. Guys, we're actually getting a number of victims. And it's important, I think some people understand that this is going to get apparently rolled out slow. And I guess a lot of us, I don't know what we wanted. What did you want? The National Guard rolling up to Congress and being like, well, there's 20% or 40% of Congress is involved. I don't know. I don't know if that's what you wanted. I just know February felt early for me to cause a pretty decent division within our government that needs to happen, but probably not February. And if it's phase one, and phase one was really kind of nothing except for the victims. And that's the part that I was really looking at. I was like, okay, well, now we have a number of victims, and that's important because now we know kind of where we have a more accurate idea of how big this was. And this is more than we got. And every time, this happens every time. Like, Biden didn't give us anything. Obama, he didn't care about this. The Bush administration, like, it happened under his nose. I don't think George Bush is connected to this nonsense, but it's an example of his incompetence within government. And I think Dick Cheney's an evil guy. You know, he's Cobra Commander. Okay, he's the adversary to G.I. Joe. We had him within our government. He's a bad, bad dude. And it's interesting because we have a country, hey man, whether you like it or not, this country voted for MAGA. We voted for a changing of how we do business in the United States of America, and MAGA is going to lead the way. And it's really important. We're going to lose this country if that didn't happen. We're going to lose the country if that didn't happen. And a lot of people are pointing fingers. Well, who's part of the evil cult and who isn't? And, you know, looking at Philly cheesesteak, Philly DeFranco, Philly cheesesteak over there, that bro shoots arrows in the wrong direction all day long. You know, it's like he doesn't ever get it right because he's so invested. He's so invested in his TDS that he can't read the writing on the wall. He can't read the tea leaves. And it's going to be something that a lot of people, and I think Philly cheesesteak is going to come around, and I think it's going to be a rough couple years for him. And I think he'll come around I don't think he's going to lead the way, but he'll come around when enough people come around where he has to finally take a long look in the mirror and be like, oh, I got this wrong. And it's horrifically wrong. These are evil, evil people we're talking about within our government, in the business sector. And we don't know, like, not everyone who went to Epstein Island and like this is the people in his book, like his little black book of names. Like, the guy tried to collect people. That's not enough evidence to say who did what nefarious deed and who didn't. We need more evidence. And apparently, you know, this was our understanding. It's a honeypot scheme, right? It's, hey, here's a prostitute. Uh-oh, she's 16. We own you for life. You'll vote the way we tell you to. You'll do what we say. We own you for life. That's what is being talked about here from what's really going on. And the Veritas is the truth coming forward. And it's really needed for our country. I think, you know, because we all listen to these podcasters and YouTubers, and many of us know, listen, these people are horrific. They dealt in children, and it's not just SA against children and pedophiles. It's also, you know, the big M word, 187. You know, you're knocking someone out. You're taking them out. You're taking them out. You're taking out kids. Okay, you're removing them. You're unaliving them. I'm trying to use the words that YouTube, I guess, still accepts. Hard to, you know, changes every month, right? That's going to be the part that involves not just the PD files, but it involves the big M word, you know, the offing of kids. And that's going to be tough for a lot of people. And because here's the thing about evil. These people are evil. You think that there was some sort of judge on Pedophile Island that said, well, we're going to do really bad things, but there's a line. There was no line there, guys. There was no line. It's like levels of evil, and we're going to figure out who was involved in what capacity. And we're already kind of, you know, it's kind of known, you know, the Prince and Bill Clinton and Bill Gates, and these people are going to be heavily involved. But we don't really know beyond that a lot of the others, and we're going to find out. And this is phase one. So I was chilling when I heard it. I wasn't like freaking out. I think it's fair that some of you are, you know, you're putting pressure on Pam Bondi, but God Emperor Trump's on a ship right now. And there's a lot of little rats, mutineers on the ship. And I'm giving his administration, which really, I mean, Trump took office, but he just got his administration in. I'm giving them a little bit of time to weed out the rats on the ship. And I trust God Emperor Trump's going to get it done. Like, I'm My window for concern ended when he was elected. Okay, he survived these assassination attempts, and his people are, and JD Vance, whew, God Emperor Trump picked the right-handed man, right? His first lieutenant, the hand of the king. JD Vance is the right guy for this. He is doing a fantastic job. So I'm chilling, and we're gonna wait for phase 2. I think this is a year. I think this is going to take a year for the big revelations that the news media is avoiding. We can't hate them enough, right? The news media, we can't hate these people enough. They're disgusting. They don't care about the truth. They only care about political power. That's why they're so frustrated, and they're like whiny little children making demands of God Emperor Trump, who's going to ignore them and do what's right. So, it's going to be an interesting year. How many phases are we going to get? I don't know. Is this going to go to 6 or 9 phases? I don't know. I feel like 25 million Americans are very, very aware of the Epstein Island stuff. And it's going to eventually be 250 million. Very aware. And once we get that number, it's going to be very hard for these leftist commies to try and twist the narrative away from, orange man bad, mean tweets. No, this is evil. And the light's going to be shined on it. And this evil is not going to hide. And they've already lost. Okay, this is just a losing battle playing out. They have lost. This war for them is over. They lost it. It was a little bit closer than I wanted it to be, but it's over. And it's just a matter of time before all of the white flags are going to be waved. And some people got to get to work. There's people within our government, and they got to get to work. They got to do some very important things. But I'm chilling. That was my main takeaway from this, which is kind of different than a lot of MAGA. A lot of people really upset, and I was like, no, we're on a timeline, and I'm still good. We're entering March now, but it was February, and it seemed early for me to indict former presidents of the United States, which needs to happen. Okay, you can't just commit treason against the laws of nature and God and a country. Like, a lot of people need to be held accountable, and they're going to be. Later, bros.